Did you know that the 8 richest people in the world own as much wealth as the poorest 3.6 billion? A disturbing statistic, but mainly a symptom of a much more complex reality. We live in an era marked by two alarming trends. Wealth is becoming increasingly concentrated in the hands of few, while the masses risk becoming more and more irrelevant. But how did we get here? What are the implications of this growing disparity? And most importantly, what does the future hold for us? Welcome to Luminar Thinking, the channel where we explore complex topics such as the future, philosophy, science, well-being, and much more. If you want to be inspired and reflect with us, subscribe and check the description for more. The concentration of wealth is nothing new. Throughout history, human societies have seen the rise of economical and political elites. During the Roman Empire, both in the Republican and the Imperial periods, the great patricians' families accumulated vast wealth through land ownership and slavery. Emperors controlled enormous resources, while urban masses lived in extreme poverty, often rely on panem and chieftaincies, bread and circuses for their survival. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution and modernity, wealth concentration shifted towards large industries. Figures like Rockefeller and Carnegie symbolize a new economical elite with the power to influence not just the economy but also politics. Today, the difference from the past lies in scale. Modern corporations like Amazon, Apple, and Google not only dominate markets but also hold more economic power than many nations. For instance, in 2023, Apple's GDP exceeded that of countries like Portugal. This reality raises questions about who really holds the decision-making power in the world. It's not just a question of economic inequality. This trend is transforming the social fabric, creating an ever-shaped divide between the elite and the masses. Growth most of the time is desirable and a sign of progress. The basic problem isn't growth itself, but the ultimate purpose of this growth. The goal of a company, as we know, is first and foremost profit. If a company is not profitable, it has no reason to exist. But what happens when this goal becomes the sole objective? Wealth and power, solely directed at increasing them, are not sustainable if the goal is not also about creating wealth for society as a whole. Our current economic systems often lead to a concentration of wealth and consequently of power that is self-perpetuating. The rich, therefore, get richer and richer. While we observe an increase in wealth, there is a growing concern about an even more disturbing problem: the irrelevance of masses. Historically, people have been needed as labor force both in agriculture and later in the factories. Jobs have evolved, and with the advent of digital age, mental labor has replaced manual labor. This has led to numerous advantages and innovations. We have seen a general improvement in the living conditions of a large number of people. Fewer people die every day from malnutrition or diseases. We are able to cure and prolong people's lives as never before in history. So, human society is undergoing a progressive improvement that affects almost everyone. Progress has also allowed us to work less and less, do less manual work and also mental work. Therefore, we are able to produce the same thing using less human labor. We have become more efficient, and this trend is increasing. Many jobs are being replaced by automation, a generic term that encompasses a wide variety of technologies such as robotics or artificial intelligence, and people have the chance to do things that make them more human and less automation-like. However, the speed at which technology is advancing today is unprecedented. Entire industries, transportation, manufacturing, and even creative fields are undergoing massive automation. Large numbers of people are not required because there is no need for them. If machines can do the job better, why would a company hire a human being? Meanwhile, demands for highly skilled jobs is rising, but not enough to offset the loss of lower skilled positions. Moreover, new jobs require a high level of specialized skills. This leads to a paradox: new jobs that are not filled, or in other words, a high level of unemployment and a lack of qualified personnel. This happens because humans naturally need time to acquire new skill. We are not able, at least for the time being, to instantly download new knowledge and skills in our brain. There is a further risk. By the time we have learned something new, it may already be obsolete. Human beings are characterized by flexibility and the ability to learn almost anything, but they need time, while technology continues to evolve at a faster pace than our ability to adapt. It becomes increasingly complex to enter the world of work, often when one is laid off, especially if this happens at an older age. A key aspect of this dynamic is the control of information that often accelerates negative trends. Social media platforms shape opinions and behaviors on a global scale. This often leads to disinformation that fuels policies that do not promote the real welfare of all. When economic power is concentrated in the hands of few, political power often follows. Large corporations finance political campaigns and influence public policy, making it difficult for ordinary citizens to have a meaningful voice. As a result, people lose trust in governments, media, and institutions, fueling cynicism and social polarization. We are aware of these trends, yet we seem powerless to change them. And the fear of approaching a society in which we do not prioritize the welfare of all is actually discussed in recent debates. But history teaches us that change is possible. For example, companies could be incentivized to invest in projects that improve collective well-being and foster the personal and professional growth of employees rather than mass layoffs. People could be better informed and actively engage in decision-making rather than remaining passive spectators. We could start prioritizing values beyond wealth, recognize the worth of every human being. Take Bhutan as an interesting example. They use gross national happiness, GNH, as the primary measure of progress, rather than gross domestic product, GDP. This unique approach, officially adopted in 2008, focuses on 4 key pillars: sustainable and equitable socio-economic development, environmental conservation, cultural preservation and promotion, and good governance. Let us remember that progress is not inevitable, but the result of collective decisions. It's up to us to decide whether we value every human being and build an equitable society, or let inequality and irrelevance take over. The choice is in our hands. Build a future that values human dignity, or resign ourselves to a world of inequality. What will we choose? If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. If you want to support the channel and help us create more videos like this one, find the link to our Patreon in the description. Thank you for watching. See you next time.